Has there ever been anything sillier than the international, domestic and general outrage about the revelations that nations spy on each other? Yes, Fairfax Press has breathlessly revealed that countries spy on each other, and not only on their enemies, even on their friends. And not only that, but some of them actually use their overseas postings at embassies for spying. Well, golly gosh, gee whiz, and stuff me up a dead bear's bum. Who would have thought it? Well, actually, anybody who hasn't been living under a rock for the last 70 years. Of course nations spy on each other. They always have and they always will, and they use whatever means are available. When I was living in Canberra back in the 60s and 70s, it was common knowledge that every embassy in Canberra had spying equipment as part of its normal deal. There were designated members of the staff who were spies, and you just accepted it. And they weren't there to spy on Outer Mongolia. They were there to spy on Australia. In fact, the most friendly country of all, the United States, was notorious. It was common knowledge to insiders that it was unwise to walk across the front lawn of the American embassy unless you were wearing lead underpants. Such was the intensity of the radiation from the electronic equipment which was buried under the lawn. Nowadays, of course, it's become more portable. Most embassies have a member of the Defence Services Directorate, one of Australia's many spy agencies, who carries not much larger than a Globite suitcase with all the necessary equipment and sits in a darkened room as part of what's known as Operation Stateroom. This operative spies on not only the country he's in, but a lot of the countries around as well, particularly in closely packed areas like Southeast Asia. So yes, our embassy in Jakarta is used for spying. Yes, our embassy in Port Moresby is used for spying. And really, the outrage that we're getting from our friends and neighbours is a bit much. I mean, Indonesia has had its own secret spy agencies for many, many years, and they've operated in Australia. We know this, it's common knowledge, public knowledge even. So to now suddenly get all uppity about the idea that Australia's doing the same in Indonesia, well, it just doesn't compute. And when you go into wider areas, Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, is complaining that the Americans have spied on her. Angela Merkel, for God's sake, she was brought up in East Germany, a country which was a professional spy agency. In fact, not very few people did anything else. They were all either domestic or international spies, and there have been rumours that Angela Merkel's own family was mixed up in it. So now for her to complain that somebody might have been eavesdropping on her conversations, now come on, grow up. Of course, most of this outrage is confected, and we're meant to accept it's confected, but the diplomatic niceties demand that it takes place. Okay, it's taken place. Over and out. Come on, back to the spooks, back to the spooking around, back to the lurking, back to the eavesdropping, back to the monitoring. It's always been thus, it always will be thus, so get used to it. I'm Mungo McCallum.